Alright, so I thought I'd make a quick video going over how to make corrections if you did really poorly on the homework that I assigned on Monday. So this will just be going over like all the correct answers and how to maybe fix some mistakes I kept seeing. And so you guys can hopefully learn this for a later on just like quiz at the end of the week possibly. I haven't quite decided when that'll be. It'll probably be either like Thursday or Friday. But so for number two looked pretty good for the most part. Everyone was able to get CF is 10. That's because CF and ED are opposite. FE is 15. Again, FE is opposite of CD. And opposite sides are congruent. The part that I saw the most trouble was finding CE and GD. So CE is one of the diagonals. So the diagonals are said to bisect each other. So that means since they're bisecting each other, it's creating two congruent sections. Now I don't know if these are all congruent, but I know each diagonal respectively has two congruent sections. So since CG is 7, that means GE is also 7. So if I want to find this whole thing of CE, that means I have to take 7 plus 7 or 7 times 2. So that makes this 14. Now with GD, I knew that FD, so this whole diagonal is 22. So again, this diagonal is getting split up into two equal sections. So 22 divided by 2, that would mean FG is 11 and GD is also 11. So GD is 11. Okay, looking at number 4. Number 4 was pretty good. The only thing I saw with number 4 was we missed the directions. So we were asked to find KL. So a lot of people were able to find what X was, but then they just stopped there. So remember, read the directions. So I have KL and JM. So those are opposite sides, so they have to be congruent. So I have 7x minus 2 equals 12x minus 22. Okay, and so I saw some people add 22 to both sides, and you get 7x plus 20 equals 12x. Then you would subtract 7x, and 20 equals 5x. Now some of you got negative 20 equals negative 5x. That's completely fine, because what happens is when you divide by 5, or if you had negative 20 over negative 25, you should still get the same answer of x equal 4. Okay, so some of you stop there and you're like, that's my answer. But what you really have to do is take x and plug it in for KL. So KL equals 7 times 4 minus 2. KL equals 26. Alright, number 6. 6, I saw a lot of people think, oh, these are two angles, I'm going to set them equal to each other. These angles are not considered to be opposite of each other. They're actually what we call consecutive angles. So consecutive angles are those supplementary angles, so they have to add up to 180 degrees. So I'm going to take 3x plus 5 plus 9x minus 17 equals 180. Now we're going to combine like terms. So 3 plus 9, I get 12x. And then 5 minus 17, I get negative 12 equals 180. And then we just add 12. Get 12x equals 192. And so x equals 16. And this one we're just solving for x, so you were good with just that. Okay, so making sure you understand the difference between opposite angles. So Q and S would be opposite angles, but Q and T are consecutive, so they're going to be supplementary. And that's when we add them up to 180. Another example of supplementary would be Q and R. All right. Oops. Now we have number 8. So 8 was by far the hardest, and it was hard if you didn't mark up the things that you knew. So the first thing that I would have marked up is this idea of angle BCD is 51. So angle BCD would be BCD, that's this whole angle right here, okay? So that is 51 degrees. And I know you guys don't have this worksheet to exactly to print it off, but you can just draw a parallelogram and just get as close as possible to this picture. I saw some decent pictures on your guys' homework that you turned in, though. So the next thing that I would have done is, because I don't know anything about 51 being congruent to 14x plus 4. Those are not opposite angles, and they're not alternate interior angles. They're just kind of there, okay? I don't know anything else I can do with just this information. But I do have some alternate interior angles going on here. So I have this 55 degrees would be congruent to this other green angle that I'm drawing in right now. Okay? Those are what we call those alternate interior angles. So if I label that, up here could be 55 degrees. You could also go and say, okay, if I know this red angle is 14x plus 4, that means it's going to be congruent to this other red angle down here, because that's another example of alternate interior angles. And so that would be 14x plus 4. Okay. Now I have a little bit more information to go off of. What happens is I've now created, this is one full angle. If I take 55 plus 4x plus 4, I have this whole angle in my larger picture of the parallelogram. Okay, so there's an angle right here. This angle should be the same as these two angles up here, if you want to think about colors, red and green, red and green. Then I have this whole blue angle of my parallelogram over here. Okay, if I think about this blue angle and it being a consecutive angle to these red and green angles, okay, because you got to kind of erase the diagonals in here. I now have two consecutive angles, okay? So I'm going to take 51 degrees plus 14x plus 4 plus 55 and set all of that equal to 180, because those, I've now created two consecutive angles. So I'll have, let's start with the 14x plus 4 plus 55 plus 51 equals 180. Okay, combine 4 plus 55 plus 51, and you get 110. Okay, then subtract 110 from both sides, not 180. And 14x equals 70. And then divide by 14. And x equals 5. Okay, so the hardest part about this one was to find those alternate interior angles right off the bat. But other than that, it just turned out to be two consecutive angles and that were supplementary. Today, for your homework, we're actually going to practice more of what the notes were from yesterday. So proving parallelograms in the coordinate plane. So these problems come from your homework. I think it's the same homework from Monday. But I'm going to post the worksheet again. So your only problems that you're doing are 10, 11, and 12. So if you want to get a better grade on your homework from yesterday, the one that I graded yesterday, the even problems, so 2, 4, 6, and 8, if you did poorly on those and you want to redo them, you just have to send me a message through Canvas and with an updated note sheet that you've corrected all your problems and you now have the correct answer. I just want to make sure that you guys are using this and actually correcting your work and not just pressing play on the video and letting it run. But more on what's due tonight, these 10, 11, and 12. For the most part, I'm seeing pretty good uploads and pictures. Some of you are using that Scan Genius app that I told you about. I'll put it again. If you have no idea how to upload things to Canvas, I suggest Googling, but it's pretty easy. It's just like you would upload like an attachment in an email. And if you know how to upload an attachment through an email, like, go for that. You can just email me at my regular school email. I'm completely fine with that. So there shouldn't be any excuses for me to not see your work. So if you are still having troubles with uploading your documents, please let me know, okay? I can help point you in the right direction of some videos to watch or some websites to check out on how to do so. All right, so make sure you turn in 10, 11, and 12 by midnight Wednesday night, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I know in the beginning of the video I said something about a test being on Thursday, and I'm making this video on Tuesday, so I didn't realize how close Thursday was. So your standard check over all things parallelograms will be on Friday, okay? So don't freak out. It's going to be on Friday, all right? So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and talk to you soon.